I'm good. Yeah, had a busy week. I mentioned last time my parents were coming to visit, so they just flew out like an hour ago. They were supposed to fly out last night, but then there's something wrong with their plane, so they had to stay in a hotel at the airport and then fly out this morning. But yeah, just been hanging out with my family all week and yeah, eating too much and playing games and stuff like that. So yeah, it's the first time. So my family, I grew up in Illinois, which is it's like a 4 hour flight from here, so it's a little ways away. So my family doesn't visit too often. They haven't been out here since like 2016 or something, so it's been quite a while. So it was nice to have them. But yeah, didn't get too much work done this week though. This was mostly just vacation week. So they showed up right after at the end of last Wednesday. So basically right after our last coffee with Eric here. So there hasn't been a whole lot new with me on the Bomb Squad front since then, which I feel bad about because I was looking. This is episode 30 of Coffee with Eric, which is that's kind of a big deal. That's like a big number. So to commemorate, I have absolutely nothing. uh, so this will today will just be like a chill Q&A day. We can always cut it off short if there's nothing much to talk about, but just wanted to. It's important to have coffee with Eric anyway. So, yay, go 30. So yeah, I'm curious. Has anyone played around with the 1.7.20 builds on GitHub or run into any problems with those? I'll be getting back to work on that here soon. Black, yes, black evil coffee mug. I'm still not sure what to do about this. I should get like stickers for it or something just to make it look a little bit less black and evil. Or I should just like dress all in black myself. I don't know, just like lean into the evil thing. Yeah, there we go. Some Bomb Squad stickers. Howdy, sock. Okay, good idea. Yeah, if you're not feeling adventurous, I would wait around until the BASTD refactoring. So then you'll have one bit of pain instead of two bits of pain. But hopefully that'll be coming soon. Like this upcoming week's going to be a little bit slow for me because we have like so much stuff. This last week, my parents were here, and then tonight actually, two friends of ours from Oklahoma are flying in for the week. So I'll still be getting some work done. It won't be it won't be like a coming to a complete stop like last week with my family here, but it'll be a little slower than normal. But hopefully, finally getting that BASTD refactor done and getting to the end of 1.7.20. Then on to the fun stuff like asset downloads, like the stuff that'll actually benefit from all this refactoring. BASTD affects CPP layer 2, right? Probably not too much more than has already happened. Basically, the C++ layer has already been split out into all the feature sets. So if you go to, if you're looking at that here, source, ballistica, like all these, everything in the C++ layer here is basically already put into a feature set. There's a little bit more refactoring I have to do just to get the feature sets like dependency stuff sorted out. So if I can type here. So I showed you this I think last week, where when you launch the game right now, you get a bunch of warnings about, this was imported before this, or this was imported before this. So some of the stuff with the C++ layer is happening like in the wrong order when the game comes up. So I need to kind of clean that stuff out. But that'll mostly that won't make any huge differences. That'll just kind of be things. I'll move a few like initialization things around and stuff like that just to get a nice like clean startup order. Um, but generally, like I said, most things are already where they need to be on the C++ layer. So all the scene v1 stuff is under scene v1, and all the UI stuff is under UI v1. So that's mostly what the BASTD refactor will be. It's if you come into assets but data Python, this stuff will be getting split into like scene v1 parts and UI v1 parts, because right now the BASTD package contains like a bunch of gameplay stuff like activities and actors and games, and then also contains a bunch of UI stuff. So in the nice clean new world, like UI stuff and gameplay stuff, those are kind of like separated out. which means we can like make new versions of gameplay and change all that around without that's completely independent from the UI stuff. So yeah. Um, so yeah, there shouldn't be. If you want to start resolving stuff, it shouldn't be too many more changes in the C++ layer. So up to you. Like I said, mostly it'll just be you have to go through and do a big search and replace for BASTD and replace that with like BAScene v1 lib or BAUI v1 lib or something like that. I'm down to play Explodinary again. Like I said, I don't have too much on the agenda here, so if we want to do some Explodinary, I'm down. Bomb Squad beta footage. I'm not sure if I have any handy. Oh, I do have one thing I did want to show you. I was going to show you all last week, and I forgot. My old roommate. So originally, when I was starting to work on Bomb Squad, I was still in college or finishing up art school, and my roommate Raf, he's an animator at Pixar these days, but he was my roommate back then, and so he was helping me with Bomb Squad. It was just kind of our little hobby thing. So he did. I think some of his voices are still in there. Like I think some of the spaz sounds are still Raf, and there's probably a few other little remnants of that early version, but eventually or originally before long before like the clay look and all that, the stop motion look, yeah, Raf was doing some of the artwork, so he made like little CG characters and stuff like that for the game. So he found this last week and sent it to me, which was like a really old, like a splash screen for the game or something like that. He just had like a printout of it, but this is like the original look of what Bomb Squad was going to be with these little CG dudes. You can see again, it's kind of more Bomberman like, a little bit more that style, but it's kind of funny to see that after years. So yeah, he did a good job with it. Cool explosion background, stuff like that. But sadly, I feel bad. Like even on the old version, I never actually got. I think maybe we were gonna make it 2D or something like that, which is why he was kind of making some 2D stuff. But I wound up making like the menu like 3D and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, that was back in probably 2004 or something like that. So long ago. Yeah, it does look a little silly, but again, at the time, the game was really like we didn't have any plans of like releasing the game or anything like that. It was just something for us to play because we loved playing Atomic Bomberman on PC at the time. We'd get big games of that going with me and my other roommates and everyone. But but yeah, I did kind of want to get away from like the Bomberman look at some point too. And I know it's a little Bomberman-ish. Like Spaz looks vaguely a little bit like the Bomberman guy. Um, and I know that a lot of people when they talk about Bomb Squad, they still compare it to Bomberman. They're like, "Oh, this is the funnest Bomberman I've ever played," or something like that. I'm like, it's not Bomberman. It's a different thing. Oh yeah, I see that a lot too. It's like Gang Beasts for Android. It's like no, it's not. I've never played Gang Beasts. I mean, maybe it's similar. I should play Gang Beasts. It looks funny. I've watched people play Gang Beasts. It looks silly and fun. I'll have to see if I can get that somewhere. It's on Steam, I guess, right? It's PC. Gang Beasts, like from what I've seen, it really leans into like the floppy physicsy aspect. It's like Bomb Squad kind of does, but it seems like Gang Beasts is just like really floppy. Yeah, we need more interactive maps. I want that. I do want that. Our maps are very non-interactive. Um, I think that I kind of held off on trying to do interactive maps because in the back of my mind I was always like, oh, I'm going to redo the physics with like client prediction and stuff, so I need to not do any interactive maps until client prediction's working. But so it's been this weird like vicious cycle of putting that stuff off. But need to just get that in there, even if it's not client predicted. Oh, interesting. It's hard to get physics right. It's yeah. There's always like corner cases and little things, and it's hard to make everything behave in all situations. I mean, as you see with Bomb Squad, there's lots of cases where a guy might get stuck in a wall or something, and it's like you try to make the physics behave as well as they can, and try to make it, like you have to try to make like the you know shapes for your maps kind of clean enough so that the things usually bounce off cleanly. But there's always going to be cases where something's flying really fast and just gets stuck in a wall or stuck in the ground or something, and it's I'm sure it could be better, but it's never like a I don't think it can ever be truly perfect. Or maybe it could. If you spent a long time, you'd probably get it to where you could never have any bugs. But I get emails sometimes. People will like send me a screenshot of like their character got stuck in the wall, and they're like, "Look, there's a bug." And I'm like, "Is there?" I mean, yes, it is a bug, but it's like I said, it's impossible to get everything perfect. Which bug is the flag bug? Refresh. I mean, I'm aware of lots of random bugs, but oh no, what's the flag bug? If something is game breaking, we should fix it or try to fix it or add some hacky workaround to try to prevent it from working. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, something like that. That sounds like we could fix it. Dies while returning the flag. Flag resets by itself. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that. We'd have to. Is that something that we could like reproduce, or like I wonder if we could just fix that by looking at the logic and trying to figure that out. Temp fixed it, or adding, like in some cases like that, adding like a timer or something where like once per second it checks to make, I don't know. There's little things you can do to kind of try to catch broken corner cases. Oh, there's a pull request. Oh, okay. I'm guessing the pull request might be broken right now. I'll start pulling in those pull requests. Like I said, as soon as I can get 1.420 or 1.720, as soon as I get that API finalized there. I'm guessing I probably broke most of them with the initial 1.720 dump last week. Actually, I'm gonna check. I'm kind of curious. Burp, burp, burp. Pull request broken, 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 broken. Oh, that one's working. And that okay. There's a few that are good. Cool. Oh, four. All right. Oh, is this that one you're talking about? Okay, so yeah, this one has a few conflicts, but um, broken, 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 broken. All right, see you later, maybe. So yeah, I'm like I said, like I'm hopeful that most of this code or a lot of this code with the now that it's going to be broken out into feature sets, that hopefully old feature sets won't ever need to be like touched too much. My hope is that anything that changes will just go into like newer feature sets like scene v2 or UI v2, and then hopefully the old ones like scene v1 and UI v1 and all that stuff, they can just be in like maintenance mode where we never really change them, we just kind of keep them working. um, So hopefully that'll make it easier for anyone modding the game or whatever, because then you can just like target an old feature set and hopefully your mods will just keep working for a long, long time, or relatively long. At least compared to now with, things changing under you. Hopefully they won't be doing that. And I think I mentioned in chat, but I'm also hoping that the API version will hopefully not have to change again for that same reason. I know that's kind of a big pain in the butt. Like every time that API version goes up, then basically all the existing plugins and all the existing scripts just like get ignored. Um, and that's kind of the design of that, is like to make a little thing I could flip so that instead of breaking everybody's scripts and having weird compile problems and bugs, it'll just ignore them until they get updated. So that was the whole point behind the API version thing. And 1.720 ups the API version to 8, I believe. I think we're on 8 now. It's been 7 for quite a while, I think. But hopefully this is the last time that API version will have to be changed. Hopefully we can, going forward, hopefully we can just rely on having new feature sets. So new scene v3 or UI v3 or something. So if things change, it'll just be like you can opt into that. You can be like, okay, I'm going to update my mod to use UI v3. But if you don't want to do that, then you can just leave it on UI v1 or scene v1 or whatever, and that should keep working for a while. I guess at some point it'll come down to a decision of like how many how many of these old versions to keep in the game. Like I'm guessing scene v1 will stick around for a long, long time, but maybe like the newer one, maybe it might not keep them all. So there might be like a scene v1 and then like the newest one, like scene v5 or something. I don't know. We'll have to see what makes sense, but we don't want the game to get like too bloated with like 35 different scene versions, because it has to, when you're compiling the game, it has to build each one of those, and that's the game builds really fast right now, but if there's 35 different scene versions in there, it's going to start slowing down. So we'll have to decide like what's a reasonable number of old scene versions to keep around. I would guess just like a good number so that people have time to update their stuff casually. Or we can do something like, keep a really old one around, and then like a decently old one, and then like the newest one, or yeah, we'll have to see what works. But my guess is, I do want to kind of iterate fast on that. So I'm guessing like there'll be a scene v2, and then not long after a scene v3, and then scene v4. And... oh, sweet. Cool looking. Whoops. Nice. Good clay texture. Huge binary with small compiled SO1. Good question. I mean, I'm thinking maybe I'll do that for like the server versions. So if you're running like the server version, you'll probably just, all of the ballistical stuff will be just like a Python binary module, essentially. Though it'll be a weird thing where it'll be like a few modules like in one shared library. So, but it'll be like a .so file that just contains all the ballistica stuff. But then again, like I don't think that'll actually make a difference in the size of the binary. It'll just mean that all of the guts of the game are just in a shared object, a .so file, instead of a binary file or .exe type file. Because even like on Linux and stuff, we're linking against system Python, so it's not like we're embedding Python in there or anything like that. So I think it'll be probably the same guts, just in like a slightly different format. It'll be kind of cool though that if we compile it into just like a Python SO file, it'll just run under a normal Python interpreter. So that might make certain things like debugging work better. So you might be able to use like Python debuggers and easily just set breakpoints and stop when some event in the game happens. So there's probably some benefits to that. It'll be fun to play with. But yeah, very good job on the clay look here. I'm curious. I mean, this is a cross that bridge when I get to it sort of thing. But once it's possible for people to upload assets, and we have asset downloads and things like that, like I do want to. I think I've talked about this before, but I do want to encourage people to kind of stick with the clay style when possible, or reward people that do stuff in the clay style, or reward maps and things like that that kind of like stick with the style of the game. So I don't know if that'll just be something where like I can flag things as like, oh, this looks like the game, or some sort of like rating system or something like that. I mean, it'd be fun for people to be able to like do stuff in their own crazy style, even if it's not the same as the game. But I'd like to just kind of separate that out, or have people, maybe there'd be like a section just like crazy style stuff, or just a section with stuff that like fits into the game style, and then a section with stuff that is more out there for people that want to do that. Oh right, and then Steam Workshop integration. So yeah, need to look into that. Huh, I need to look into Steam integration in general one of these days. Just because, yeah, coming up on 2.0, it'd be fun to start, yeah, getting that stuff working a little bit. I could even throw the thing out. I don't know if it would be useful. What's it? Steam like early access, or what is? Do they still have that? Just like games that are not quite done yet, they throw them out on Steam and people can submit feedback and stuff. That might be worth doing for like a beta test period. Oh, okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, thank you very much for that that info. Yeah, I was just a bit curious because I was curious about like what people view free to play as on Steam. Because I know I probably just read the wrong forums on Reddit or something like that where people are just always complaining about like mobile free to play games. Or maybe that's just people do that everywhere, or maybe it's a rightful complaint. But I was curious if that same attitude existed in the PC world. So it's good to hear that it doesn't, or that it's kind of different. Because I am very happy that I switched the game to free to play way back in the day. When it was out on like the Ouya and on the Mac, like the very early versions, it was just like a $5 paid game. But then I switched it to free to play, very poorly. Like it doesn't it doesn't monetize great, but that's okay. Uh, but I'm happy I did that just because then more people can access the game. I'd rather make a little bit of money off of more people and have more people playing the game and making mods and having fun with it versus making more money off of fewer people. So got to make money, got to pay rent, but yeah, I'd rather do it that way where it's just like, if I can get a little ad revenue or something from people, but then have a ton of people play the game, like that's definitely my preference. So yeah, definitely that's. I've probably mentioned this before, but that's part of the reason I'm holding off until 2.0 to launch on Steam and iOS. At least that's the plan, just to make sure that to make like triple, double, triple, extra sure that all the networking and or the like my 2.0 master server and all that, make sure that can handle a big load and make sure it like it's not gonna cost me a bajillion dollars and make sure the game makes more money than I'm spending, stuff like that. That's kind of important. Um, I've read about games that had to shut down because like they became super popular and their server costs were so high they like basically were just losing money, so they just had to like pull the plug. Uh, so that's a little scary to hear stuff like that. So I definitely don't want to be in that position. So that's kind of why I want to, I keep pushing off iOS and pushing off Steam, but I just want to make sure that everything is in a good place. And I'd love that place to be, squads mode. I'd love to have that and get squads mode in there and get it all tested and make sure everything is working well, and then, you know, pull the trigger on Steam and iOS. But yeah, I like free to play games too, like on PC and stuff. When I've been slacking lately. I haven't been like playing games with friends online too much, but when I was, it was always great because we'd try different games, and if something's free to play, then we can all just try it, and don't have to like convince a bunch of friends to spend a bunch of money. It's more just like we'll try it out, and if we keep playing for a while, then people buy skins and stuff. So I think that's a good model. Unfortunately, there's not yet a beta of squads mode. I do plan to be pretty open with that when there is. I mean, I may have to like limit it or something, like limit the people or I don't know. I was thinking of doing something cool, like a little, contest, or I don't know, not a contest, but something, some fun little thing where, handing out codes. Kind of like what is it, Blue Sky? The new like Twitter replacement thing that Jack Dorsey, the Twitter guy, he's rolling out. And so like everyone's trying to get a code for that, Or like early days of Gmail, everyone wanted like a Gmail code. Twitter, or is it blue? I thought there was a sky. I thought it was another word like Jack Dorsey blue sky. Yeah, blue sky. I think. Yeah, blue sky. Burp, burp, burp. But yeah, the big hot thing right now is trying to get a code for blue sky. But I was thinking of doing something like that for like squads mode. You know, if there's a reason to limit it, it could be fun to just. I mean, all like everyone on the. Maybe that would just be like a goofy way to get people on the Discord too, or something. Just like have like daily code handouts on Discord, you know, something like that. But yeah, definitely. Can't wait to get that going. There's like there's a few. I mean, I don't want to like get distracted. I know I do that sometimes, where I get distracted because something is fun, and then I'll spend like 3 weeks working on that thing, and then I'll like finally get back to what I'm supposed to be doing. Uh, but there's a few pieces that need to be built in order to start messing with squads mode, and I think the biggest one is um, the sandbox stuff. Because I'd love for squads mode to just be open ended, where it's like, you know, people can play their own mini games and all this stuff. And so the biggest piece missing for that to work is, you know, me being able to run anybody's Python code on my own servers in a safe way. So that's what we need the sandbox stuff for. So it's just like having a process that's running on my server, but it's like completely locked down, so you can't make any kernel calls or anything like that, or any system calls. But it's enough to be able to just like run Python logic, and it has like a limited set of memory and, you know, limited slice of CPU time and stuff like that. So hopefully that's possible to do in a 100% secure way, or very close. But yeah, that's kind of the big piece of the puzzle. Once I get that in place, then hopefully people can start just like writing mods and things like that in their workspaces, and then, you know, play those with friends, or just make those available for anyone to use, stuff like that. Hi, Beluga. Hi, Beluga. Who's Beluga? Aw. So Steam early. Okay, games like blah blah that released an alpha stage at Steam for discounted price and increase their price when they release properly. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I was thinking, you know, maybe Steam early access, something like that could be worth it, just for testing things, or even just like, yeah, I could do something similar where, you know, maybe the just testing the, you know, in-app purchase system and stuff like that, making sure that's working. Um, there's like that stuff actually takes a bit of work, especially now because I'm trying to have everything be totally secure. Like in the old V1 days with the original accounts and things like that, there was definitely a lot I did where it was just like, oh, who's going to try to hack this? I'm sure this is fine. And I have completely learned my lessons since then. Like anything that can be hacked will be hacked. So therefore, you know, in the V2 days, I'm trying to have everything be as, you know, properly secure as possible. So that's why when you sign in with like Google Play, it does like, you know, the full verification thing where like my server sees that you're trying to sign in, so then my server talks to Google and is like, hey, is this person who he says he is? And then Google tells me like, oh yeah, that's him. And so then we let you sign in, stuff like that. So it's, you know, there's a lot going on behind the scenes to keep things secure. But there's the same sort of thing with wiring up like in-app purchases. You have to do, you know, if someone, you know, purchases a ticket pack or something, my server gets that, and then my server has to like check with, you know, the Steam server or Google server or something to be like, hey, is this actually I have this receipt here from this person, did they actually just buy this? And then, you know, the Steam server is like, yeah, they bought it, or like, no, that person's a hacker. So yeah, it's always like these extra steps behind the scenes to like make sure things are really happening. it's it's kind of fun and it's interesting, but it definitely takes a bit of work. I've probably told this story before, but I when I first released the game on Android, I didn't have anything like that. I didn't have any like server side verification for in-app purchases. I was just like, oh, I'm sure Google has this stuff like, you know, somehow secure, right? Like they won't tell me someone bought something unless they really did, right? But it turns out no. Um, you basically have to do that server side stuff. Otherwise, like everyone like I was super surprised when I launched the game and like everyone immediately was buying like the $40 ticket packs or something like that. And so very briefly I was like, "Oh my god, I'm rich." And then like a day later I was like, "Wait a minute. Google says I've sold like 1/100th of this or something." So so yeah, it turns out a lot of people are very very able to unlock stuff if you don't do server side checking. But it was a fun lesson to learn. I do love these, like the random repertoire of goofy faces. Kind of fits in with this guy. I love it. Then whoever did that, the gun one, I love that one. There we go. Cool. I used to have a good friend of mine. Sadly he passed away in a car accident, which was tragic a few years back. But we'd always play Halo and stuff. He'd be at our Halo parties, and he had like the most expressive face ever. So it was just like hilarious to like watch him while we're all playing Halo, because he would just be like just going insane the whole time. Just look like he's about to like have an aneurysm or something like that. It was awesome. So Sock, what other plans do you have for the next Explodinary aside from this slick looking new map? Oh, can't spoil. Okay, all right, no worries. It is fun to be surprised. Taobao. I should probably, I don't know what I should do with that Taobao character, because I've mentioned that was for like a Chinese version of the game, so I put it in there. So it's in all versions of the game in case there was crossplay. But I hope I don't like I hope Taobao doesn't like send me a cease and desist or something for still having that in there, because it's not like unlockable by default, though you all figure out how to do it. But yeah. And new music night. Ah. Oh, I don't want to reveal this. Is this? When is the update? The 1720 update will be soon. It's hard to say. I mean, like I said, basically the last thing to do is to fix that startup order error so that like all the new modules are importing in the right order, so it's like clean and sane, and then splitting BASTD out. So that's not too much work. Maybe I would say confidently this week, except that I do have visitors coming in, so that's gonna, I'm only gonna be able to work like half time this week. So I'd say likely within 2 weeks, but I can't say for sure. But I'm super tired of working on 1720, and not tired of it, but I'm super ready to move on to fun stuff. This is just like boring technical stuff that needs to happen, and it makes me feel good because everything gets nice and clean. But it's more so like stuff that will help build other stuff. It's like building blocks. So these building blocks are in place. Now it's time to like build stuff with it. So such a peaceful song. Ah. Oh, how it created the characters later? Yeah, we should. Well, yes. I need to set that up. I actually finally I have Maya here, which is what I use to create everything. So though I can't actually launch it, I have to like configure something and then I can launch it. But I should get all the Maya stuff up and running so I can show you like the scenes and things like that, how I set up the original stuff. It was, kind of manual or, a little bit janky. Um, I don't intend to keep making stuff that way. Like I want to for the asset package download stuff. Like I want that to be like much cleaner, and hopefully we can have like a little. I know there's some like Blender tools out there that will like export stuff to Bob formats and things like that. Hopefully we can come up with something more like a modern thing, or I can write something, or I should learn how to script in Blender or do anything in Blender. I should say. I can move the box. I can open Blender and like move a box around, but I still if I have to get any real work done, I do it in Maya. But Maya's expensive and it's old, and Blender's awesome, so I need to learn Blender more. Whoa, minigame creator. Whoa, that's awesome. Oh, that's super cool. It would be, yeah, like stuff like that is like there's a lot of opportunities there. I've been trying to make it easier to for people to hopefully muck around with stuff. Like when I added the like workspaces, there's some templates in there. So if you come to workspaces, do I have a workspace? Oh, here we go. I put some templates down here for like if you want to make runaround with your own set of stuff. My runaround.py. You can come in here and see all the waves for runaround. They're just like defined in line here. So if you're a little adventurous, you can make your own runaround waves or onslaught or whatever. But most people like that's a little too technical if you're not a coder. It would be something like this is awesome. Like just being able to set up waves by hand and save that out or something. We should yeah, it makes me wonder like is there some good way that we could share stuff like that, like if you like setting up, hooking into these tools you get made and saving like a set of waves, and then other people could just like use that set, or have like vote on them, or I don't know, just something where it's like we could get like the community stuff going. That'd be super cool. Friends tabs, you don't. Well, the uh, squads mode. I mean, that should, if it doesn't have a friends tab, it probably will have a friends tab. We'll have to see. I know we were talking about this a few weeks ago. Like, what's the best way to organize the game for getting together with your friends and inviting them to your squad and then playing stuff with them. Like, just having like a friends tab that you can send out invites, or just sending out codes to people. So then you can just do that on like Messenger or whatever, or WhatsApp. Oh yeah, yeah. This stuff is always a little bit. It's always going to be a little bit scary if you do something in a way where people could abuse it. Yeah, if people put, because there's always going to be somebody that's just messing with people for the lols and stuff. So that's tricky. It's a bummer because I mean, it's just the way of the world. But it's like there's so many things that would be super convenient by just like sharing little scripts with people, or if we made it easy to do that. Like, oh, hey, just send someone the script, but then people are gonna obviously abuse that. So that's why I'm hoping to get the sandbox thing, if it's possible to make like super hardcore locked down sandboxes that run on servers and somehow prevent them from being used for mining Bitcoin or anything like that. Then there's a lot we could do with like sharing code and stuff. Then just because it's not like running on someone's device and it's not running under their account. It could just be like, hey, run this mini game, and it'll just like host a server for you. And that server shouldn't be able to like mess with your device or anything. It's just like it's a server. But yeah, that's an idea too. Like a different config besides the game's config.json. I do vaguely on my to-do list is like redoing the config system somehow. So maybe that's something we could think about. Right now, the game's config gets kind of not abused, but there's a lot of like game, like I would call it like game state in there, which is not really config stuff. It's more just like the game saving like, oh, which menu you were in when you closed the game, or things like that. And I guess that's kind of config type stuff, but it would some of that stuff. I feel like it maybe should be in a different place where it's not like user facing. Config could be just more like, I don't know, like stuff you set under game settings or something, or stuff that you would actually theoretically want to edit by hand sometime, maybe. Um, will there be new bombs? Yes, at some point. That's I guess that's not. We can't show the roadmap, Siegel, for that because there's not really. I don't think there's a designated point where it's like new bombs would be on the roadmap. But um, that's a big part of. For me, that's a big part of what I'm doing now with like splitting stuff out into like scene V1 and scene V2 and stuff. Because then we can refactor things. Where we can easily make new bombs. Right now, making new bombs involves like hacking the spaz script, or just getting creative with that, and that's kind of not the cleanest way to do it. It would be better to, yeah, I know, this is guilty as charged. Like, it would be better to have a way to add bombs where it's more like adding maps is right now, where it's like a single script. You want a new bomb type, you write a script and drop it into your mods folder. BS rap? What? Bomb idea in mind. We've seen a lot of mods people have fun bombs in them. I'm trying to think what would be fun bomb types. We were talking about this maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. Like a gravity bomb or something could be fun. Something that like sucks people in, or the opposite, like just something like a force bomb, like something that just like blows people outward without actually causing that much damage. It's more just like good for like launching people off cliffs or something. Um, what else would be fun? My personal thing, I would love to have a chicken bomb. Like I know I've talked about that, like having fun critters like mini penguins or like a little chicken like in Zelda, that flies around. Like it'd be awesome to have some sort of like quasi homing chicken. Like you throw the chicken and it kind of like somewhat homes in on people, but not very good, so it's like they can still get out of the way. I think that could be hilarious though. Or yeah, remote bomb, that's another one. Like something where yeah, you drop a bomb and then your dude just like sits there with. I mean, there'd be different ways to do it, but you sit there, your guy just sits there, and then you're just controlling your bomb instead of your dude. Which it seems like there could be a lot of fun strategy there too. Like if you're back at your base, you send out your little remote bomb, and your guy is safe in the base. So there could be cases where that could open up some fun gameplay. I I never played Worms too much. I always played like other games like that, like the side view artillery games. I love those kind of games. But yeah, I'm not familiar with Worms too much. Um, I know the original Unreal Tournament. There was like it's like a maybe in other versions of Unreal, but it's like a rocket launcher, and you shot the rocket, and then basically you just control the rocket from that point. So that was kind of a similar idea. Well, to the remote bomb, not to the chicken bomb. The chicken bomb. This would be like a self-guided chicken. You're not going to control the chicken. No one controls chickens. Oh yeah, that could be fun. New modes, kind of. For new modes, I would say my what I want to get there is squads mode, and once like squads mode is up and running and the whole sandbox thing, then I want to make it possible for people to share modes that they've written in their workspaces and things like that. And that's my hope for that is like people, then I could make new modes or other people can make new modes or whatever, and maybe we could vote on them or just pick which ones are fun, and that would be like in the standard rotation of modes. Just so then people playing squads mode would just kind of have a steady stream of new stuff coming in or like improvements or things like that. Um, but yeah, that's all part of the kind of like the squads mode plan. So I haven't put too much effort into making new modes myself. It's more just like I want to get to this place where it's easy for anyone to make new modes, including me. I know I'm probably I feel like I'm leaning too much on like I'm not making new stuff myself. I'm just trying to like empower people to make stuff, and I hope that pays off. I mean, I've seen so many awesome mods that people have made. I just want to make it easier for those mods to like get out there and be played with everyone who has the game. So that's kind of what I have been focusing my energy on more so. That's like with all this crazy refactoring and scene versions and this and that and the other thing. Play in first person. I don't think so. I feel like that would have to be a completely different game because it would have a completely different set of. I mean, for one thing, this has been brought up before, but like a lot of the maps, they don't look good at all from up close. They're designed to be viewed from one angle, pretty far away. So if you were seeing what the character is seeing, it's going to be just like a mess, and none of the textures hold up very well, very close. And also with the characters flopping around as much as they do, I feel like that would be like instant, sickness or something. So I kind of feel like a first-person bomb squad type game would have to be kind of designed from the ground up to be that way, or at least very much heavily modded to be fun in that case. It's an interesting idea, but I don't think we'll be able to have something that works in first person and third person, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Like how many, seeing your screen flip as fast as the character flips, like that would probably be pretty unplayable. Like there is a VR version of the game, and I do want to get that updated with the latest actual proper VR controller support and stuff like that. And that one's fun though, because that still is like the third person. It's basically it looks just like the normal game. It's just in VR, so you're like looking down at a tabletop instead of watching a screen. But that one's neat. Like that one actually, it's kind of neat to see things in 3D. You get a better sense of like where bombs are in space and heights and stuff like that. So I'd like to keep that version supported because that's not like a totally different viewpoint. It's just like a clearer viewpoint, kind of. But yeah, I feel like seeing something from a Spaz's perspective, that would be like crazy. Uh, oh sure, let's take a look at this. Squadbot. Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for making this. I know I'm very I was asking questions about how it's all set up, but it's kind of neat to see. That's cool. It's funny. I was thinking that Bomb Squad would be probably safe from like once things are running on my own servers. I was thinking Bomb Squad would be safe from hackers, um, because it would be very hard to, it's so like wishy-washy, and it's not like a first-person shooter where just having like a something that removes the walls is a huge advantage because or yeah, stuff like that. With all the physics, it's like it kind of takes the human brain to be able to kind of, figure out how your floppy character throws bombs and stuff like that. So I was thinking like, oh, we don't have to worry about hackers using AI and stuff. But now it's making me wonder, like seeing these like training UI or training AIs to be able to, do this kind of stuff. Like how good can this get? But that's okay. I think it's awesome anyway. Let's watch Squad Bot. Oh, Eric Bot. Oh, no, no. Now I'm like rooting for the Eric Bot just because it has my name, but I know it's gonna lose. And then, oh yeah, this has been brought up before. Why don't characters have different abilities? So apologies if any of you have heard this conversation like 5 times, but yeah, it's because the game is so diverse. There's racing games and there's fighting games and whatever else. A big thing is like if all the characters had abilities that came along with them to all the mini games. I think it would be certain mini games would just be very unbalanced. Like a fast character would probably be best at race. Like a tough but slow character would probably be best at deathmatch or something like that. It'd be very hard to balance those abilities for like any scenario. Or what if there's a character that was really strong at punching but could barely throw or something like that, like then that character would be like useless and run, yeah, like run around type games. Um, so so my thought is it's best to have everything be just kind of an equal playing field, but then if someone wants to make a mini game where there are, they assign different powers to different players or things like that or different characters, like I think that's cool. Then it opens up to do that if you want to, but then we should do that on like a per game basis, or keep that contained to a specific game. So that's kind of that yeah, my opinion for things right now. I mean, who knows? Things can change in the future, but I kind of feel like having like an empty canvas is good. Okay, yeah, this is another bit of trivia. There's a lot of characters in there that are basically low res copies of spaz. Um, and these I put in there a long time ago just as placeholders so that when I did fill out those characters, that other people would be able to join those games. They would just see like, low res spaz. Um, but I never wound up actually filling out those characters because I would rather just get the asset system done so that we can have people download characters. So then it's not limited to those like specific set of placeholders, if that hopefully makes sense. But yeah, these are not actually yeah, these are simply placeholders. These are not actually like unique characters in any way. It's just like copies of spaz. Over Pro Unlocker that, yeah, includes all the placeholders. Well, I could see if someone didn't know, they might think like, oh, they have special powers or something. But no, it's just copies of spaz. Spaz is everywhere. All the spazes. Um, but yeah, it's like back in the day. I know I mentioned this before too, but like the Android version, there was like a 50 meg limit to APKs, so I had to try to fit the game within 50 megs. Um, because there you could do like expansion APKs or something like that, but that was kind of unwieldy, and I didn't want to bother with that, so I kept trying to keep the game within 50 megs. So it just meant like I was very limited on being able to add new characters, because if I wanted to add a character, I'd have to like downsize another texture, or like make some map texture lower res, and that sucked. So I know we're no longer limited by that. Like we can fit more stuff. I think the limit is like a few hundred or something now. It's definitely more than we're at. I mean, the game is at like 60 or 70 right now, I think. Um, but still, like I still kind of want to keep the game small, just because from what Google tells me, a lot more people download games when they're small, like if people have bad connections and stuff. So it still is kind of beneficial to keep the game as small as possible, and then just have extra stuff be, extra downloads. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the asset download stuff, is like the game itself will probably be still, 50 megs or something like that. But then if you unlock a character or as you're playing, it'll just download stuff on the fly. That was a Google rule. It was basically an APK it's been years now since they updated it, but up until a few years ago, the APKs could not be bigger than 50 megs. So if you had like a really big game, it would have to use like expansion APKs, they're called. You probably never see this if you just have a phone and you're an Android user, but basically it meant that there's like a regular APK, and then that thing could automatically download other like expansion APKs. But then that was just like extra stuff to keep track of, and it was very specific to like Google Android. So I didn't want to like mess with expansion APKs. So I just tried to keep the game within 50 megs. But like I said, now it's that limit is raised, but I still want to keep the game small and just start to rely on asset downloads. So that's kind of why I didn't ever like fill out all these extra spazes, because like these are like low res and it's just the same copy of the same texture, so it's not like extra. It's not too much extra space. But if I filled each one out and gave it like a nice higher res texture, it would start to like the game would grow a bit. So I'd rather just get these downloads finished, which will be the case in 1.8. 1.8 will finally will finally have asset downloads. And then, yes, slowly getting closer to seeing Bomb Squad on the App Store. I apologize to the iPhone people, but I'm kind of doing it for my own. This is like self-defense. It's just like I want to get squads in there and make sure that it works, and kind of stress test it on the bajillion of Android people out there, and then we can launch Steam and iOS. Because there's way more. I mean, there are a lot of like iOS and Apple people out there, and I'm sure there's a ton of Steam people out there. So I'm sure that those could theoretically be really big hits to the server. But there's a ton of Android people out there already, so it's like my server's already getting a nice stress testing. So I just want to get like the squad stuff in there and get it like well stress tested with the existing user base, just to make sure that stuff is all working. I especially being one person, like if I had like a launch day meltdown, like there's probably only so much I can do to fix that. So I really want to avoid launch day meltdowns. Spaz without helmet. Ooh, I want to see. What does Spaz look like? Oh, so handsome. Oh, that's cool. He looks a little elfish from here. Like his ears are a little pointy. He's like, I guess he could be. He could be some sort of mythical race. Ah, yeah. Everyone keeps asking about like lore and backstories and stuff. I feel like maybe we should come up with something. That's one of those things where, like I said, I didn't want to give characters like specific powers because that leaves it up to the minigame. If we want to come up with like an RPG where each character has like a specific power, like then we can do that. That RPG minigame can go crazy. Um, so I kind of felt that same way with backstories, where it's like, these are just like actors. We can just give them whatever backstory. I've mentioned like Nintendo. I was reading that Nintendo has that attitude towards like Mario and Yoshi and whatever. It's almost like they're almost just like actors that can play different roles in whatever game they're in. Like sometimes Mario and Bowser are fighting, and other times they're just driving cars against each other or playing tennis or something. It's like it doesn't look like they're mortal enemies necessarily. Or yeah, bomb story. See there, there's a good example of you know someone adding their own backstory to the characters. So in a way, I kind of like not having that defined. It's just kind of like it's a set of characters that you can make stories out of. Like starring Spaz as whatever. But yeah, this is kind of taking that idea we were talking about further, like create your own levels and share. Yeah, I part of me doesn't want to try to make like a full map editor because I think part of the appeal of the game is having maps that are kind of based on real world things. So I would love it to be easier to make those. Like I feel like it would be awesome if we can get some AR based thing or something where like you can set blocks up on your kitchen table and like scan it, and if it does a good job of like turning that into a map or something like that would be super cool. Um, but I do like having the stuff that's like based on real world things. So like having that certain look where like it looks like a claymation animated movie or something like that. Years of training go to waste with AI. Yeah, I think a lot of people in the world will be feeling that over the next years, unfortunately. Um, I definitely feel that way. Like at times, seeing like what AI art can do and stuff. It's awesome, but also depressing. Like thinking about people that spend years and years and years like learning to be an awesome painter or something, and then some AI bot can be trained to basically recreate what they do. Not maybe not as well in all cases, or not with as much control, but it's like it's always going to get better. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a little worried about like my. I told you my buddy Raf, who helped me with the early versions of Bomb Squad. He's an animator at Pixar, and he's always kind of a funny, cynical, pessimistic guy sometimes. But yeah, he's always talking about like, oh, AI is going to just take our jobs or something. So I hope not. I hope it's not going to like put all the animators in the world out of work. But it does. Yeah, that is a worry sometimes. But yeah, right now it does seem like right now it's not quite like it makes some beautiful stuff or some compelling stuff, but it's maybe not quite controllable enough yet. Um, just having worked on movies and stuff at Pixar, it's like seeing there's very very detailed feedback and like very specific things that animators are asked to do. I don't think an AI would be able to do anything like that yet. It would be able to maybe create a cool animation that looks nice, but maybe isn't it doesn't it's not exactly what they would want for any specific part of the movie. But yeah, I guess in certain cases, like video games, you don't have that same level of exactness. It's more just like, hey, we need a run cycle. Make this character look like he's jumping. It's not so much about like acting. It's more just like getting stuff. But yeah, kind of in a way, a depressing topic. It'll be interesting to see how the world responds. If there'll be, like laws against, or yeah, if people get in trouble for like copyrights and stuff like that. If things are trained using, I know that's a big debate. Like, can you train an AI using, stuff you see on the internet or something you might not have rights to, because you can argue that that's how a person learns. If I'm wanting to be an animator, I will watch animated movies and like pick that up. But if you do the same thing with an AI, if it's technically like, is it learning or is it copying? Is that okay to do, or is that copyright infringement, or should that be like legally protected? So it'll be interesting to see what the what the world decides on that, or if different places have different ideas about that or whatever. But yeah, very very controversial topic. Yeah. And again, I'm like myself, I'm kind of divided because it's neat to see what the stuff can come up with, but then every time you do see like a beautiful AI artwork, a piece of AI artwork, it's like you are kind of seeing just a bunch of people's like a mashup of a bunch of different like real human artists' artwork. So yeah, I don't know. I've heard one other argument though too, is saying that like if everything becomes AI art, like if we stop having people creating stuff, the problem is that AI art basically just like takes existing art and kind of mashes it together. But if there's no more existing art like getting created, if there's no more like real art, if there's no more people like feeding new artwork into this machine, then like what is it going to learn from? Like the new AI art will just learn from old AI art, and then it's just like regurgitating. It's like reheating food that's already been reheated. So at some point, does that stop working, or who knows? I know they just announced in Photoshop, like literally yesterday, they announced some like AI thing. It's in beta right now, so I haven't played with it yet. But it's some, yeah, like text prompt based fill. You can just like select part of your image and be like, hey, put a dog here, or. So that'll be interesting to see how that works. I assume in that case it's all like based on their own stock artwork. So hopefully there's not the moral ambiguity there as much. But yeah, and I'm sure. Yeah, there are a lot of cases I think where AI will help with tedious stuff. Um, yeah, it's just hopefully it won't eliminate the fun stuff as well as the tedious stuff. I know people were joking, saying like AI was supposed to like replace the minimum wage boring jobs and let people focus on things like art, but it's now it's having the opposite effect. Like the AI is doing the art, and so people are left with nothing but the boring like minimum wage jobs. But yeah, it is a bummer. It does seem hard to think like if yeah, like freelancers, like low end stuff, if someone wants just kind of some, if someone's not caring super much about like the quality of the artwork, and they just need like, oh, we just need some characters, or we just need like a treasure chest design for this game we're doing, like instead of, it does seem like if you have the choice between paying a lot for a freelance artist and using some AI generated thing, it seems like so many of those people are just going to pick the AI thing, which is yeah, kind of a bummer. I guess different parts of humanity have gone through that with like factories and stuff. Probably replaced a whole lot of people like making things by hand. So it's I guess it's maybe not the first time that kind of thing has happened, but it's still kind of a bummer. So now we've gotten all somber and depressing here, but oh yeah, Midjourney. Yeah, Midjourney is, that one seems pretty awesome. Like, and all these things are improving so fast too, which is crazy. Like it seems like if you look at like Midjourney one compared to like Midjourney five or whatever it is they're on, it's like holy crap. But yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, people probably had similar conversations where it's like we should outlaw factories because it's destroying the role of like the artisan and like handcrafting a horse carriage or something like that. But yeah, it does. I mean, it does make me wonder too. Like, oh, is there something I could use that for? Just in terms of, I don't know, like drawing a quick sketch and then having AI make it look like clay or something like that. Just like, like would there be something that would fit in with the game, um, or would that be like feel wrong? Should I still just like model everything out of clay? But yeah, my hope in general is I would love to make it easy, like maybe AI can even help with this kind of stuff, like make it easy to like create something out of clay or blocks on your kitchen table and then turning that into, the a game model. I think stuff like that is, that's awesome because it still leaves like the human in the equation there. And that's kind of the style of the game anyway. I think I was mentioning last week the style, like the game is supposed to like feel, like a kid playing with toys or just playing using their imagination and just building a little castle out of blocks that looks kind of crappy on the surface, but it's more about like, you know, playing. It's not intended to be like an accurate little model of something or like a cool looking fortress that looks realistic. It's just supposed to be like blocks thrown on a table with some clay smashed around, and so if we can kind of keep that part of it. Um, but it does seem like that would allow people, like it would be great to, if that worked, like I'd love to be able to like dump some blocks out on a table and build a little castle and then like swipe over it with my phone and have that be like playable in the game. Like that would be super cool because then you could just like be creative on your table, you know, instead of, it's always, I mean, computer tools and stuff like, Blender and all that, it's, everything is, it works and, it's all doable, but it's not as easy as just like drawing something or, throwing blocks out on your table and coming up with something that way. Like that would be super cool if we could, yeah, basically your map editor is your kitchen table. Like how cool would that be? So yeah, so I'm always I'm keeping my eyes open. I know I'm sure there'll probably be more and more stuff like this, like scanners and like software that will let you just like digitize things based on your phone camera and stuff. So like if that ever gets good enough so we could just start using it and it wouldn't look worse than like handmade stuff for the game, like that'd be super cool. So if any of you guys like, if any of you come across that, like a phone app that does a really good job at that, like holler. We should do like a demo here, or just like see if we can come up with a way to plug that into the asset system or something. Oh, my favorite character. um, I don't know. I feel like when I play, I sometimes maybe like Bernard the Bear or Penguin is always funny. Pascal. I feel like usually when I'm playing, I just like I look to see what, because most of the time when I do play, it's with friends or people who haven't played the game. So I usually just like see what people have picked, and then I try to pick one of the ones that didn't get picked, or which is oftentimes yeah like Bernard or, I mean Bernard gets picked sometimes. Again, I was mentioning last week. I like to have characters be very like noticeable. Like oh, it's a bear. It's it's a skeleton. Just something where people can shout out like oh stop the blank, and it's people know who they're talking about. So I don't know if I have like a favorite character though. Oh, Jack is fun too. I like Jack. Yeah, he's he's like weird piratey voice. Petition for Bones rework. Oh, what's wrong with Bones? I mean, petitions are okay. We're open to petitions. Like different voice, different look. Like what would a Bones rework mean? What the heck? I mean, Spaz is a good bread and butter character too. It's good to have a few Spazzes in there. Oh yeah, no highlight. I don't know. I mean, does he have like a very slight highlight, or yeah? I guess no. I guess he doesn't. Like I don't know what you would do for a highlight though. You could have like give him glowing eyes or something, but then that I feel like that goes from skeleton to like creepy skeleton. Oh yeah, in the oh yeah, I guess he does have the icon BG, but huh? Gradient? Well, maybe going forward for like squads mode. I know we were talking about like taking customization further. Like maybe we could give him a little hat or something, or you could like pick some little customizations for him. A few little, or like a cool mustache. I don't know, just something you could add to Bones to make him yours. Since highlight color was kind of intended to be that, just a way to kind of like slightly customize your character, but like it'd be cool to have other things too, like little. I don't know what accessory would go well with Bones. What does a skeleton need in his wardrobe? penguins, penguins and bears are fighting. Yes, which is kind of. I know I was you've. I assume it's worldwide. Like there's always the Coke commercials, Coca Cola, where it's like um, the polar bears and the penguins hanging out together, which is completely scientifically inaccurate because polar bears are on the north of the planet, on the North Pole, and penguins are on the South Pole. So they're literally on the opposite sides of the planet. So, yeah, I could definitely see them being like at war as a very serious thing. So, yeah, penguins and bears do not share cokes together. They are at war. Scarf with the skull pattern. Yeah, that'd be like a preppy skeleton. A top hat could work. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to imagine here. Like, little top hat. Like a villain mustache. I feel like maybe a villain mustache could work. Like one of those little like skinny ones. But yeah, a scarf too. It could look like college skeleton, just very very preppy. Oh yeah, Grim Reaper. Yeah, I could just like the full hood sort of thing. Ooh. Yeah, that could be a like an interesting variation, just like glowing eyes Bones. Just kind of. Though I guess like here he's got the glowing eyes. That doesn't look too creepy. I feel like normally like with if you have like little beady red glowing eyes, like then that looks a little scary. I know. I do want to do alt costumes. That's kind of what I feel like that's the first thing I want to do once I get this silly asset download stuff going. Is yeah, just like variations on existing characters. I don't know if it would just be like you can pick a hat for certain ones or something, or if it'll just be like slight different skins for them, like Bones with like tattoos or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's just kind of funny. He's got a bomb here. That's yeah. Huh. Or yeah, probably shouldn't make this hat available. That I don't want Supercell to come after me. That's Clash Royale, right? Or what is this from? Or is that from like one of their other games? Or that is Supercell, right? Or am I going crazy? Okay, cool. Has anyone played Clash Royale recently? I kind of got into that game a while back, but I haven't played it in a while. That was fun though. Like I feel like Supercell did it. I'm curious, are they still making as much? I feel like I hear less about them. I know they're like Clash of Clans and stuff. That was always like the top or very close to the top of like the highest grossing lists on back when they had those, at least on like iPhones and stuff. They were always up there on like the top grossing lists because those games made so much darn money. But then they took away the top grossing list at some point. I assume just to try to get people focusing less on like the free to play type games and stuff. But I'm sure they're still doing well. How well do I play Bomb Squad? I feel like not well. If anyone's been watching, well, I have to make an excuse for myself. Part of it is because I feel like I'm like when we play, a slight excuse because it's usually in Europe and I have pretty bad lag, and the other excuse is I'm um, sometimes just trying to like talk a little bit in the background. So I feel like I don't play great when we play online, but at my best, I think I was probably like the best I've ever been is when I was designing the co-op levels and stuff. So I'd play a lot of them just to try to see how difficult I could make them, but still be possible and stuff. Um, but I'm sure, yeah, even without lag and without distractions, I probably would get destroyed by a lot of you. So I'm not amazing. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I still have that skill deep in me somewhere. I can sometimes get a long range decent bomb shot. But yeah, if you like anytime you get close to me, Sock, I'm just like done. I'm just like, all right, he got me. But that's again, like I most of the time I've played the game, it's with big groups of friends or something, like 6 people who mostly haven't played before. So I feel like I spend most of my time just like hanging back and trying to do fun like long range bomb shots and stuff like that. So yeah, you're super aggressive, but you're very effective at it. I feel like if I kind of like avoid that because like I said, I'm mostly playing with newbies. So if I were doing that, I feel like I would just piss people off and they'd never want to play my game again. So that's why I think I wind up doing more just like weird eclectic stuff in the background. Oh yeah, kind of got the creepy beady eye thing going there. See, if that were red, that would be super creepy. Yeah, so I think sometimes I forget to turn off. Again, not to make excuses for my bad playing, but I feel like sometimes I kind of play more so to like balance the game instead of to like try to win just because I'm used to playing with new people. So I feel like I naturally kind of stay in that mode where I'm not like playing super competitively. It's more just like filling space. Or we play co-op and I don't realize it's co-op and I throw Sock off the ledge repeatedly. That happens too. Yeah, I again, I know I've been like busy this whole back last week, so I literally didn't have any time to work on stuff. But yeah, I I'm hoping some of these I'll have some more fun stuff to show in upcoming weeks once asset downloads and stuff like that can hopefully start appearing. Um, I know it's been kind of a I mean, I feel like it's been kind of this way for years, just working on like technical parts of the game. Everything like going back to even 1.5, like 1.5 was basically just refactoring a bunch of Python 2 into Python 3 and adding type checking and all this stuff. So I keep spending a ton of time on like technical bits. But I'm hopeful that all this work leads to at least more opportunities for people to make fun gameplay bits. I hope it's not for just like I hope I'm not wasting too much time on the back end stuff. Uh, but again, it's like I have this vision of like when we get squads mode and people being able to like share their own mods with sandbox stuff and all that. So like I hope we get there soonish. Well, sometimes on co-op, depending on the game, like if everyone respawns at the beginning of waves, it can be beneficial to throw each other off the cliff. I guess you can just jump off the edge. Um, there can be strategy there. Bomb Squad mod stealers. Is that a thing? Like, does that happen? Do people like steal each other's mods and not give credit, or is that something people are worried about? That's one. Not really. Okay. Yeah, I remember hearing about that a few years back, but I haven't heard too much recently. Because it made me wonder for like when you can host once we get to the point where you can put some code up in your workspace and then like host that on cloud servers. It made me wonder like should I require that stuff to be open sourced? Um, like would that be beneficial? Like if you're hosting stuff so you can like always look at the source code for any game that you're playing online, like that could be kind of cool. But I'm wondering if that would like scare people away too if they like don't want to like share their code or something. Um, but also, and there shouldn't be hopefully. hopefully it shouldn't be easy or possible to do any like exploits and nasty stuff on servers like that, but being able to view the code would at least, you know, give us a way to make sure that nothing bad's going on. I made a mod pack. Because I guess even if someone makes a cloud, even if someone makes a game, sticks it in a workspace, and then we're able to like host it on the cloud and play it with everyone, like they could still put shady stuff in there, like secret codes that you enter by, you know, left, left, right, right, up, down type stuff. Like, so it could be good to for everyone to be able to see their code and make sure there's nothing like that in there. Compilation mod packs. But yeah, Explodinary Tournament, that'd be cool. Any ETA on the next Explodinary update? Or I shouldn't, I mean, not to rush you or anything. You're doing updates way faster than I am. Don't know. Okay. Cool, cool. Just thought I'd ask. But yeah, Ivan Ivan MS. I don't know how to say that, but I guess Ivan MS is fine. But yeah, thanks again for sharing this. This is super awesome. I'm curious to see, like, yeah, if you take it further, if you can take it further, or if we add things like, you know, the ray casting stuff, like if we can take bots further at that point, that'd be fun. What the heck? Well, I'll be having nightmares for the next week. So surreal. I love it. Drugs are bad. No, that's awesome. What is this? Oh, we need a tiger character. I don't know if I've got any requests for tiger characters. Oh my god. So much nightmare fuel happening all of a sudden. You have to save that for like a Halloween, special Halloween update or something. mein Gott. Oh yeah, and I do want to do more like holiday characters would be fun. I've kind of, as I mentioned, I did Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, but there's so many other holidays out there. We need like a leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day, or I mean Halloween, of course. There's so many options there. I'm sure there's other like international holidays that I'm not aware of that would still be cool to make stuff. Yeah, like a Bones. Yeah, that would be a good time to like throw out a Bones rework. Is Halloween, like all the different options, his top hat and his mustache and his creepy glowing eyes with blood coming out of them, or something. Or like emo Bones. Just have like different styles, like high school cliques for Bones, like preppy Bones with like the shirt around his, or the scarf, and then yeah, emo Bones, goth Bones, just yeah, like face paint. I don't even know. Ooh. That's cool looking. BS Go. I guess that's like a mod we could do. I mean, a lot of games let you just like mod the standard weapons, right? Where it's basically like a skin You know, you get a certain gun and it just looks a little bit. It's the same gun, but it just like looks different. It's like I guess we could do that like with bombs or something, but that might be confusing though if it starts to look like it's a different bomb or something. We don't want that. What? I'd love to see just like the thought process for this, just like okay, and then a guy with the toilet, or you know, like the storyboards or you know the script or something. So like weird and surreal. Did I late? Yeah, a bit late, but that's okay. It'll be up on YouTube tomorrow, as always. Why are the toilets evil? So yeah. On that note, any other? I might try to get back to work here soon. So any other last topics, thoughts, conversations? Oh yeah, that is true. If you think of the world from a toilet's viewpoint, like you'd probably want revenge after all that. What? Oh no. Oh, so sad. I didn't know we're supposed to have a BS rap. I need time to come up with this. This does make me. This reminds me of a different thing, like spaz versus, or yeah, like various characters versus different characters. It'd be fun to have like a little mini like real time strategy game or something. Just like throw a few spazzes out on one side, like even with the just existing bots, just like throw a few on one side, throw a few on the other side, and see which one wins. You know, like place bets or something. It seems like there's some fun little things you could do with that. Oh wait, did I miss this? Or did this just happen? Diffuse the bomb? Ah, no, no. There's no diffusing happening here. I mean, you hear a game called Bomb Squad, you assume there's diffusing. Oh, there we go. Capture the flag. Don't get caught off guard. It's gonna be hard. Diffuse. Yeah, we just got to replace the diffuse here. So do a few little cleanup bits, then we'll have a good Bomb Squad song. That'll be the new menu music. It'll be glorious. Yeah, it definitely looks Chat GPT ish. It's the perfect game for a dynamite night. Yeah, I'm gonna change all the storefronts to just that, or just this whole song. Yeah, just like the whole game description will just be this song now. Watch my downloads go through the roof. Oh no, is this more? Oh god, wait. We already saw this one. All right, I can only stand so many toilet nightmares in one night. Bomb strike. Did I late? Toilet nightmare. Sounds like a mini game. I don't want to think of what that mini game would be, but still. Cool. All right, folks. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. And actually, I'm like super anxious to get some work done because, like I said, it was awesome to have my parents here for this last week. But it's like, I get that itch. Like if I haven't done any coding in a few days, I'm like, I want to do some coding. So I think it's time to get coding. So on that note, so I guess we're a little shorter. We're an hour and a half instead of 2 hours this week, but we'll make up for it next time or get back to normal 2 hour length. So anyway, been fun as always, fellas. And so everyone have a good week, and I'll see you folks next time. So peace out.